welcome back to part 2 of this Invideo behind the scenes of my ongoing project, The Trial of the 30. That name will probably change. Yes, now we're going to be focusing on doing really cool combat. Invideo is really good because it allows you to do human faces as well as a bit of gore, and I'll show you where I've got to. So I ran a quick test. I was just playing around with this test combat. I'll play it now for you guys. So yeah, these are two very generic knights in a similar setting, but I wasn't happy with it ultimately. But I was just testing on the dynamics of combat and fight movement. So pretty happy with that. Quite an exciting scene. What I was really focusing on was a prompting style whereby there was weight to the movements. I don't want it to seem too Hollywood. I want it to be very realistic. I've been doing some research in the field, watching how real knights actually fight in armor. That's been really fun. Maybe I'll share some of that later. But yeah, I just want it to seem like it has a weight to it. So with that, you can see there's a lot of errors filmically, like the 180-degree rule is broken. But a big realization while I was playing around was the wounds and mud which will appear on our knights over time, and keeping that continuity will be a very difficult process. Luckily we have Invideo to come in and help. So I have devised this method of creating a script supervisor, so to speak, updating character sheets based off still frames of things that happen in the combat. So I can always have an iteration. So let's say someone's broken their nose, the character sheet will update with how they were affected in the video, and we'll take that forward as the new ground truth for that any given character. So obviously with focusing on let's say 10 knights throughout this whole thing, we're going to want the continuity to be as good as possible, otherwise immersion will be broken. So this is a really helpful tool, and something that I think once you got into the flow of a production, you wouldn't want to be focusing on. So it's really good to have Invideo here to help for that. So let me show you what I've been doing. So I actually started with a much more cinematic scene. Again, we want to have more of a beautiful cinematic look, in a sense that the start of the day where the combat happens is early in the morning, so I've got that beautiful golden light, but it's also frosty because it's winter. So throughout the day, the frost will melt and the sun will raise. So you'll be able to tell it's different times in the day. I think this is a really beautiful effect, especially with the breath coming through the armor. You really get a sense that it's cold, and yeah, I think it'll just be really cool. It looks much nicer than that overcast version I showed you previously in the test. It's also a thing that's going to really be needed for continuity. So this is the Knight Dubois. He is fighting very heavy-handed with his two-handed sword against a couple of knights, and then he's bonked on the head. Pretty exciting. He is very stunned, and then he turns around and attacks him and stabs him in the chest. Okay, so let me show you what I've done here. This is a new agent. I've got 3 now. We've got the original one, which is Helper Dude, which I used for the pre-production. And then we've got one here for continuity supervisor. So this one, I gave it the purpose. Again, it says, who am I? What should I know about you? You will be a continuity supervisor. For our film, The Combat of the 30, our knights will get injured and muddy over time. I'll rely on you to recreate character sheets with wounds and wear and tear to move the story along with continuity. So let's see how it gets on with that. I've taken a couple of screenshots from where that man at arms just got injured and stabbed in the chest. My plan is, narratively, he grabs the sword as he went back, as you just saw in that clip, and his blood caused the stuff on his surcoat as well as a stab that didn't go through his chainmail. What he's going to do is he's going to get up in his bloody hand, he's going to grab Dubois on his surcoat where the wheat sheaths are, very poetic, and leave a big blood stain there and try and stab at him with his little dagger while he's fighting someone else. So very dishonorable fighting, but it'll be cool. So here's the blood stain that was on his surcoat. we're going to amend the character sheet from where he came from. So what character was that? Houston Clemenbean is the original guy. I'm going to add it here. And I'm going to say to the agent. Okay, so Houston Clemenbean just got injured. As you can see, there's that blood stain on his top. Please amend the character sheet and update it with that blood stain on his top. Keep the character sheet the same as it was previously, but just add that stain, nothing else. Use Nano Banana Pro as an attempt, as well as Dream 5 if you've got it. I've heard this is a new one that just dropped. And again, just talking there to Invideo, it's a really nice way to just direct the agent as opposed to typing out everything. I really do prefer working in this way. Okay, so the first one's just landed from Nano Banana Pro, and as we can see, it's gone a bit over on its creative license there, but we can see the prompt that the agent's coughed up here, and it's really gone into maybe too much detail. It re-described him again, and what I noticed, a dark reddish brown blood soak about the size of a splayed hand. It's taken that and made it into a splayed hand. Oh, do we just... Interesting. What's happened here? Okay, so Dream 5 Pro just came in as well. And that's a much better result. I mean, there isn't a hand shape, let's say. And it does, I would say, resemble really nicely. Yeah, it's up to there on the clips on his Gambison. Yeah, I'd say that's nailed it. Cool. That's exciting. So now I'm going to try just showing him touch where the wound is while he's on the floor, and just kind of like struggling in agony, and then spotting Dubois to then attack. Okay, so I've got the ingredients I needed. I've got another screenshot of him lying flat on his back. So I'm just going to give it a prompt. Let me just check which one that even is. Using this as start frame of Houston lying on his back. Take a voice note from here. So we want to incorporate the new character sheet with the blood stain on him, which I've attached to this. We're going to have a very short sequence, 10 seconds. Houston clutching at his chest, on the floor, struggling, looking around while the battle rages around him. He's got panic in his eye, and then he reaches for the long misericordia dagger in his belt and pulls it out and begins to get to his feet to attack someone. Let's see what happens here. So Invideo's been kind of adding a lot of extra stuff to my prompts, which has been really helpful at times, but sometimes it just completely overcooks it. So I had to have a bit of back and forth and just say, look, before every time we trigger a seedance video, that we have to approve the prompt, and it's come to terms with that, which has been really nice. It's even supposedly reported it to the dev team as well, that, you know, overbearing feature. Because yeah, don't get me wrong, agents are super helpful for getting things done quicker. But if you need something done specifically, it just takes a bit of time for it to understand like your pacing and the desired outcome you want. So it is iterative. So if you do get into frustrations early on, sometimes with agents, just remember every iteration that you do with it should be putting you towards the right direction. I mean, this is just you know, directing a crew. If you think about it that way, you've got to build that relationship and getting it right. So yeah, it's cool. Few seedance is mashed together and edited with my favorite parts. But yeah, I mean, Invideo went off and made a choice where they got pushed into the tree. And instead of going, hey, that's not what I had in mind, I'm going to riff off the back of that. I'm also going to include Dubois' family looking on, so see their reaction to him being wounded in this way, which should be quite dramatic. And then in the next prompt, I'm going to add where the blood stain's going to happen on his surcoat, so we can keep it moving from there. Okay, so I hope you've been enjoying that violence. More importantly, I'm hoping LinkedIn hasn't flagged this for violence. You might be watching this on YouTube now. But yeah, you can see that he retained his look, and now we've got the blood stains on Dubois' surcoat. So I've made the next character sheet with him. Here we go. That resembles what was happening in the violence in the video, and we're going to ingest that and do the next moment. Really enjoying doing realistic medieval combat. Like, if you were a knight, you're pretty damn invincible. So just this big axe swinging down off the back of these slippery helmets, getting onto the guy's fingers, sort of stuff that might have happened. It's something you don't really see in the Hollywood film so much. So I've been really enjoying leaning into that. Very difficult to kill these knights. So yeah, let's see what happens next.
Par mon âme!
So there we go, a bit of justice for Dubois at the end. Judo throw, and then he pulled a sword out of nowhere. I'll probably fix that for the real sequence. We needed some justice for this video. So yeah, very impressed all in. I think that's a really nice workflow for getting continuity across time, particularly around this project, because so many of the knights, well, all of them, every participant in the combat of the 30 was brutally injured. Some died later from their wounds. Obviously, people died, but by the end of this, and this is just the morning, bearing in mind in my film, everyone's going to be just tatters, bits of armor falling off them. So I'm going to need a workflow like this, and it's been really nice to have Invideo to help. Also, just having access to doing human faces and gore is a bit of a privilege at the moment. So nice. Looking forward to making the next one. I'll probably do an extended sequence and show you how it's really helpful for doing batch downloads and becoming like an edit companion. I'm trying to focus in on a new type of agent for each video. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you're as excited about the medieval world as I am.